Welcome back to the PokerPlayer Show. Still to come, we're back with the Unabomber Phil Laak. JP Kelly gives us his advice on bet sizing, and we look ahead to the big tournaments in our poker diary. Well known for his crazy bets and current record holder for playing poker continuously without sleep, the Unabomber finally took down his first WSOPE bracelet this September in the 2,500 no-limit hold'em six-handed event. But that's not all Phil Laak had to celebrate. We caught up with him only weeks after a lucky escape from a potentially fatal accident.
Okay, so myself, Antonio Esfandiari, Brian Rasks, All-American Dave, and there was 8 of us all together. We went up to Oregon, where All-American Dave was raised, and he knew all sorts of cool places for hiking and whitewater rafting and stuff. On the last day before the airport, we were down by the coast. We rented ATVs. Thinking about it, I was like, I want the fastest, souped-up, most aggressive thing they got. It's amazing. If I'd just been going faster to start with, I would have never lost them. And I lost them, and then I started going faster to catch up to them. I should have been doing the catching up part before I'd lost them, because they were out of sight for, I don't know, it was less than 30 seconds, and I thought they must have gone this way, and that was the way you would never want to go fast, because it was just like sand, 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 and it dropped. If I'd seen that I was about to go off the lip, I would have maybe gunned it. I've seen all too many, like, crash things on TV and YouTube to know I did not want to be on the ATV as it was going like this, because I just thought I would get cut in half by the steering column, you know? So I did my best to get off it, and all I remember was I was like halfway off. Next thing I knew, I was sitting in the sand, realizing, wow, I'm alive. That was nice. But I remember going through the medical check, and I checked from most important to least important. I was like, oh, like torso movement, huge, leg movement, huge. I couldn't open my eyes. Like, Phil, you better open your eye right now just for a second to see if you can see out of it, because that'll be a really nice feeling if you can see the world. And through all the like swelling and whatever, I pushed open and I could see the world out, and I was so happy I wanted to cry. My friends thought that the pain must have been so bad that it flipped over to no pain. I think the adrenaline must have been in super high drive, because I actually was making jokes. I got my backpack out, I threw my camera to a friend, I said, look, turn it to video mode. I was telling him how to do it. Within under 10 minutes later, there was a 4-wheel truck, and the first med guys, whatever, they just were appraising how bad the damage was. Then I was in an ambulance where they gave me a painkiller and got me to the hospital. Man, oh man, talk about pain. I just realized, wow, I've never had to find a more kung fu moment in my life. It was so awful. And then they put me under Propanol to pop the elbow back in. I was out for like maybe 5 minutes, and in that time, I woke up and my arm was in a cast. I realized I beat the numbers. When I was flying through the air, I easily could have been paralyzed, brain dead, smashed. I lost my eye, whatever. Like, I have 20/20 vision. I can use my brain, and I can walk around. Those are huge things.
So it's now time to look at your emails and letters, which JP will answer for you this month. First up, Peter Shield would like to know, would you rather have a tight or loose image at the table? It seems there are pros and cons to both. When I play loose, I have a much better chance of getting called when I have a big hand. When I am tight, I have a better chance of stealing successfully. What do you reckon?
I don't mind either way. I feel like you have to adapt either way, because sometimes you can't just go in there going, I'm going to win every hand. You can't go in there going, I'm just going to wait for aces. So if I have a loose image, for instance, then that's quite an advantage, because if you finally pick up a hand, then they will make a mistake. A lot of the time. It happens quite a lot when you keep pushing someone, they decide to finally stand up to you, but they do it at completely the wrong time, and they walk into the nuts or whatever. So that's a good advantage to that. Also, when you play tight, it can help because you can steal more often. But then it's kind of, I don't know, it can become obvious to good players because they just know you're kind of waiting for that situation to come up. So it works more against bad players. So that's why I prefer to have a loose image, because then you can get paid off. It's easy to get paid off when you have a loose image.
Good stuff. Right, next. Kevin Shepherd has this to say. I mostly play live tournaments at my local casino, and I was wondering what you do between hands when you're not playing. I always hear that you're meant to focus on the play of every hand, but what exactly is it that you look out for, and in what order of priority? Obviously, you look at what hands are turned over and how people sit and talk, but what else?
Personally, I like to sort of maintain a level of focus at the table. I try not to text on my phone or do anything distracting. Also, more in a way to give off a certain image to the other players, like I'm in the zone or whatever. Sometimes I'm not even concentrating on what's going on. I'm just kind of trying to make it look like I am. But when I am concentrating and looking out for stuff, it's sort of key things like what gets shown down, who's doing what. I also try to pick up on who's itching to do something. Like some people are sat there and you can tell they're bubbling over. They're waiting to just blow up and just do something crazy. Or you can sit there and you can pick up on who's sat back in their chair just waiting for good hands. So that's what I look out for, and definitely look out for maybe little tells, I guess. But tells are kind of a little bit overrated. It's more like betting patterns and things like that.
Thank you. Right, next up we've got one from Ethan E, who wants to know, do you think anyone can be good at poker? I ask because I've been playing for 5 years at microstakes, but I'm still only a break-even player. I read all the books I can, read all the forums, use Poker Tracker, etc., but just can't seem to crack it. Am I lacking something that players like you have?
Sounds very similar to a good friend of mine who reads all the books, looks at all the forums, which is great and all, but I think the best way to learn is to go in and play. Because when you play, you put yourself in positions like that books don't teach you. So you can reading all the stuff is great, but just get in there and play is my advice, which is what I say to my friend as well. So I think anyone can become a winning player. It depends how much you win, though. I guess there's got to be a bit of natural talent as well, but you can definitely maximise your potential by playing more.
This is experience.
Yeah, definitely, like increasing your experience.